Welcome to episode 79 of Star Wars and Scotch. I hope everyone is doing well out there in a galaxy far, far away. That would imply that they're in a galaxy. That doesn't work. No, that doesn't work.
They're in the Milky Way. They're in the Milky Way.
Never again. We're just going to stick to the Milky Way on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Tim, how are you today?
I'm good, Kevin. Doing well.
We're not alone.
We are not alone. We have a guest. I always
We
love it when
have a
new
guest. I would
friends.
like to introduce everyone to Chase, a.k.a. ThatGayJedi. Welcome, Chase.
Hello. Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
It's
thanks for
awesome to
coming.
meet y'all in person.
Our pleasure. We've had a great conversation before the show. We got some cool stuff to talk about today. But before we go any further, fresh off of me going to the SCA Coffee Expo in Boston, I would like to promote in Boston, and then I get to go back to Boston next week for PAX in the same building, Tim. Not even a different building.
Yeah.
Go back to Seaport in the same building. Like
Was
to
it
say,
cold? Because every time I go to Boston for PAX East, it's miserable.
Oh,
Miserable.
Like, you're probably gonna be freezing. I still have a little bit of the north left in me, so I wasn't too
you're
bad.
sad.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
pack accordingly.
Problem with that area is it's in Seaport, which is on the water. So
Oh, that breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coast. Oof.
But
So you got to do all things coffee.
yes,
over the weekend.
and Fran even made me rip some shots during the San Franciscan.
Oh,
I was like,
cool.
can we please not give this to people because I am not the barista here. But yeah, so Kings Coast was there. If you were there, I hope you got a chance to stop by the San Franciscan booth when we were doing some shots over there, or say hello to one of us while we are in the floor. No one said hello to me, so. But I'm not the TikTok star that Wayne is, so you know, I can see why. But head over to kingscoastcoffee.com. Today it was announced the first batch of canned cold brew is rolling out. Sales start on Friday. So make sure you head over to kingscoastcoffee.com and grab some of that cold brew. Nitro cold brew, canned. It's back, and it will not be just, there'll be runs, but it's going to be steady because we
Be
have
around for a while.
invested in cold brew now. We are not having someone else do it. We're doing it in-house.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yes, try some of that delicious nitro cold brew when it drops on Friday. And make sure you head over to gcxevent.com to grab your tickets. They're going fast. As I was just telling Tim before we went live, the floor is almost full.
Yeah,
which
what the heck is this? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I heard from our
amazing.
event manager today that the floor is almost full. And we have 40,000 more square feet than we had in 2019, which means that there's more stuff.
That's so cool. That's so neat. Cool.
Yeah, and obviously, Chase, you're more than welcome to join us at GCX this year if you can make the time to come on down in June.
It sounds
But,
amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
just let us
Star Wars,
know.
yeah, no, that sounds amazing.
Just let us know. Come on down.
Thank
Star Wars
you.
Explained, Alex Molly going to be there. Mark Thompson's going to be there.
Dude, I'm so excited for Mark Thompson. Oh my god, we had him on the podcast, but getting to see him in person, he's gonna have to autograph something for me. Is that okay? Can I ask him that?
I don't see why not.
Perfect. Okay.
Congratulations, you guys. That's huge. That's like
Yeah,
just
thank
so
you.
exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're trying to make GCX. It started with Destiny, and we're really trying to make it more about nerd culture and just celebrating
Great.
it across the board. And obviously, Tim and I are obsessed with Star Wars, so it makes sense. We did a test pilot of our Star Wars, basically this live in 2019. Tim and I thought it was.
It
Gonna
was
be
a
us,
complete
like,
accident. I didn't think it was
5
going to
people
do
in the
anything.
room.
No, it was like over 100 people.
the scariest part was when they lined up to ask us questions.
I got so
Wow.
nervous when it wasn't just one person that got up just to say hi. It was a line that almost went to the door.
The people want what the people want, and they
Yeah.
want y'all talking about Star Wars. I love it.
Yeah, it was
we
good.
were not qualified for that conversation.
No,
either. That was the best
not
part.
at all.
So, thank you.
I
if
think
you
there was
joined us.
people in the audience that were way more qualified.
Yeah, they were.
That was
with
the
questions they
scariest
were
part.
asking. GCXevent.com/tickets. Head over there and check it out. Programming, all that stuff should be out. I just want to say on the programming note, PAX just released all of their stuff 2 days
You
ago.
really want to hit this home that we're ahead of schedule.
Because I get yelled at all the time, like, why isn't everything out yet? Well, there's a lot going on in the world right now, so I can't really get your programming up 4 months ahead of
You're doing
time,
great,
you
Kevin.
Crazy people. Thank you. We
Anyhow.
are 44 days away from Obi-Wan. 2 episodes, day 1.
That's
And
crazy.
in the midst of celebration, that weekend is going to be nuts. I do have a little bit of bad news.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tim and I are not making it out to Anaheim.
Womp womp.
So there's a numerous amounts of factors that went into this. One of the major ones is it's my anniversary.
oh,
and 11 years of marriage. And I really tried to bring Danielle, and Tim was going to bring Amy.
Yeah, I was like really trying to sweeten the pot, dude.
Yeah, we tried. We were like, we'll take you to Palm
I love
Springs.
the solidarity.
It'll be
Yes.
great.
Yeah, we'll do, Rodeo. It just wasn't flying, and we had too much going on. So Tim and I will be covering the first 2 days of Celebration. We'll do a wrap up the following week of all things Celebration. We don't know how that's going to be sent to you. It might be on, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Your people will talk to our people. It'll be fine.
Bada bing, bada. Are you going, Chase?
I am going.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Have you gone before?
This is my first time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've been a handful of times. Kevin
Okay.
hasn't gone yet, but like,
Give it to me.
man, the first time you walk through the doors onto the show floor, man, it is a very surreal experience because you're just like, these are my people.
Yes.
They get it. And so are you gonna be like recording, like vlogging your experience? Because I want to see your face when you walk through the doors for the first time.
Hey, that's a great no. I definitely think I'm gonna do a vlog. I don't know how much I'm gonna cover, but I'm definitely gonna do a vlog. And then actually, I'm on a podcast called Pink Milk, and we got selected to be on the podcasting stage. So
That's awesome.
first trip to Star Wars Celebration, and I'm gonna be doing a live show, which will be very fun, and I'm very grateful. But
Is
yeah,
that going to be streamed? Like, can we watch it?
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure
sick.
it is. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Yeah,
I
thank you
love
so
it.
much.
Congratulations. That's awesome. And that's not the only podcast you're on. You're also on the Fear Queers, right?
Yes, Fear Queers. Yeah.
So tell us about both podcasts.
Yeah, Fear Queers. We talk about horror movies, like the queerness in horror movies. We talk about queer horror. We also just talk about all horror. It's really just me and my friend just shooting the shit, and
Those are the best
having fun.
podcasts.
It really oftentimes is. Their birthday is on 4/20. And so yesterday we just got high and recorded got an episode out. It's going to come out 4/20 on their birthday. And it's like horror movies that we like to watch high and horror movies that we stay far away from when we're high.
Love it.
So that's a good time. And then, Pink Milk Podcast. It's really awesome. I'm with my 3 other co-hosts, Brian, M, and Mark, and we all just talk about sort of like Star Wars and our own perspectives of them as like queer people. But it's cool. It's a really cool space because we don't always agree, and we oftentimes will like completely 180 by the end of each episode on our opinions.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's fun. It's really
I
cool.
listened to one episode, and the dynamic you all have going on is great. It's it's friends. That's why I said the comment that I said before. You have it reminded me of me and Tim. Like, you can say whatever you want. No one's going to get offended. Everyone can speak their piece and their mind, and and that's the end of it. So if you haven't, highly recommend checking out. I admittedly have not listened to Fear Queers, but I did listen to Serving Pink Milk, and I think you should definitely go listen to it if you're out there. And
I really want
a
to
ton of
listen to the
people that always
420
go.
episode.
That sounds awesome. I'm so excited for that. I really need to check it out.
Thank
People
you
are
so
always
much.
asking us for new Star Wars podcasts. There you go. There's another one.
Yep.
That's 2 in 3 weeks that we've given you. So stop.
You're
complaining.
welcome.
Come on.
Doing the
Come
good
on.
work, y'all.
I also want to send a shout out. I'm the only one that's benefiting from this, but thank you, Mike Thinks Aloud, for the Balvenie. I am drinking it. It is
Thanks, Mike.
delicious.
Kevin promised he'll share, so.
I will. As long as Tim gets here before the bottle goes all the way down, then I will share. But thank you so much, Mike. So, Chase, please tell us your journey into Star Wars. How did you get interested in it? Where did it begin? Like, what led to it, and where has it taken you?
Yeah. I first got into it when I was probably like 7 or 8, and just kind of like driving to I'm from Southern California, so driving to Legoland. My friend had one of those like old like car TVs, if that makes sense.
I know what
like
you're
not the ones
talking
on like the
Yep.
back of the headrest, like a giant fucking TV,
Yeah, a little
like, in the middle of his car.
CRT, and you have like
Yeah.
a big old power brick.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly. So we'd be watching the Phantom Menace on the way to Legoland. Of course, there were Star Wars at Legoland as well. So that was definitely like those are my core Star Wars memories. And then I kind of, as I grew up, I started playing the Lego Star Wars video games. And I honestly think that I played through the original trilogy before I even saw the original trilogy. So it's an interesting way to be introduced. It was a very chaotic way. Oh, and then I also was like raised on a shit ton of Spaceballs. I don't know why,
Excellent.
but like my parents just let me watch that almost every day. So like it was a very chaotic entry into the franchise. But yeah, and then like, during lockdown at the beginning of 2020, I decided to get back into it because my my flame for Marvel was going so strong, and I was like, I should revisit sort of like all these nerdy areas that I loved growing up and see how they fit. And Star Wars hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, got it. I'm back in it. I'm back in that car on my way to Legoland.
That's awesome.
I love that description. And I was the opposite. I'm a lifelong Star Wars EU. Never kind of stopped. But I got more into it probably in the past like half a decade or so once the Disney acquisition happened and more stuff started releasing.
Yeah, more content.
But I was the opposite. I gave up on Marvel because I fell behind in the movies.
Oh,
and I was like, I give up. I can't keep up. Like, and everyone's like, I was streaming at the time. People were coming to my stream like, I just saw Endgame last night, and I don't want to live anymore. And I was like, man, this is emotional. All right, this is cool. Yeah. And then we went into lockdown, and I turned to my wife, and I was like, we're watching all the Marvel movies. And she was like, we finished Tiger King. We don't have anything else to do. So finally, and Tim was one of the people receiving the text message. Was like, oh my God, this thing happened. And Tim's like, yes, 4 years ago, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it was really funny. I was like, how did you miss this?
That is so
Harry
funny.
Potter is another one that he also just completely skipped out on until I gave him the no shit about it. Yeah,
we're talking months ago with Harry.
Yeah, no, he literally just, and he's giving me play-by-plays. He's like, oh yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban, it was okay. I can understand why it got shit. I'm like, what?
The thing there was this. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd as much as I am with Star Wars.
Oh, totally.
Someone along the way, I don't know where it was or who it was or what.
You were streaming.
It might have been streaming. I don't even remember anymore. But somebody said like, "Oh, it's as good as Lord of the Rings." Then I watched the first movie, and I was like, "I don't know if I can do this." So I never did, and I never stopped. And then everyone in my life was like, "You need to watch them. It's like right up your alley. You have to watch them." And then finally, I turned to my wife and I said, we're going to watch all the Harry Potter movies now. She was like,
I love it. She's just like on the ride of fandom to fandom.
She is not a nerd, but she knows she married a nerd.
Yep.
And she is more than willing to jump in the fire with me. But she also doesn't hide it. So if she loves something, she loves Marvel. Loves. More than Star Wars.
Yeah, Amy's very on Star Wars, but she's been getting into the Marvel shows. Like Loki, she was just like, what happens next?
Oh, she was next? Loki and WandaVision. My wife was like,
oh yeah, we loved WandaVision.
She's an artist, architect, designer, and she's like, this is trippy. I love this shit. Like she loves Bjork and all weird.
Both of those shows also had great female roles too, so they just like were really like carried the show on their backs. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like Sylvie was awesome. I loved that character.
Incredible.
She was amazing.
Also, Yelena Belova, treasure, icon, crown jewel of the MCU. I adore her. Yeah,
love it. So you kind of came back to Star Wars, if you will. And I think the Lego thing is so interesting because especially now we were talking about the game before we started recording. So this is like the holy grail for you is this game that just came out.
It's been a big month. It's been a very big month for me. Yeah, I've been playing nonstop. I said earlier, it's better than I could have imagined. And it's just fun to revisit it. A, because it's nostalgic, but B, because they've just done so much to like blow expectations out of the water and just make it like an even bigger, better game. So yeah, it's pretty great.
I am thoroughly impressed with how beautiful it is for a Lego game.
Yes.
Thoroughly impressed. I don't know what platform you're playing on. My son's playing it on Series X, and I'm like, holy, this is Lego?
Yeah,
that doesn't look like Lego.
On PC, fully maxed out. Oh my gosh, just chef kiss, and it's fully flushed out. That's the other crazy thing.
Yeah.
And it has mechanics from all different types of games. Like they pull from like the spacecraft combat is like definitely like from Battlefront. The on ground combat has like cover mechanics and like there's different classes that can do different things. It's really fun. It's another one of those shockers of just like, oh, this is what a completed video game feels like. This is enjoyable.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
What is that phrase you said? Completed.
Yeah, completed video game. Like it didn't like their DLCs so far are just additions like Mando, Obi-Wan. They're all going to add on to shows, but you get those if you buy the deluxe edition, anyways.
For only $10 more.
Yeah, and like Din has Grogu that just follows him around. It's like all these just adorable little details.
And anytime there's like gunfire, he just puts his little shield up.
Yeah, the blaster shields come up when you ADS.
So
it's the coolest thing.
Oh man,
it's awesome. Yeah, and they take a really good take on the storytelling and adding this really fun comedic twist, but it still all makes sense. And that's the cool thing. There's also like lore Easter eggs in there as well. On Camino, you're walking through as Obi-Wan, and they start talking about how there's a force-sensitive training area that Lama Su built to test the clones to see if they had force powers. I'm just like, what the heck? Why would they be telling me that in a Lego game? That's amazing.
Yep.
So,
Oh my God, the level of detail is insane. It's so cool.
Yep.
You guys are talking about the Orabesh with the bosses too.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
there's a TikToker, and she's been going through, and she's been like deciphering all of the Arabesh that's underneath all the bosses. So it's like a proper like RPG almost. Like you walk into a boss room, and it's just like Boba Fett, and then underneath it, it'll say something else, and so you'd have to go and you'd have to decipher it. And chat's like, what does it say? And like, I don't know, I can't read this. But then people go to Google and like, oh, it says so and so. So like it says for like Palpatine, it'll say like one true emperor, bringer of galactic or first galactic empire, yada yada yada. It's really fun.
And like they get quippy too, because Kylo Ren's was like has like granddaddy issues, like was like his thing. And then for Palpatine and like the final boss in the sequel trilogy, I think it says like, yeah, he's back or something, just like kind of like funny and quippy. So yeah, they just do such a good job of like balancing like poking fun and like not taking things seriously and being irreverent, but also being completely reverent and completely like, respectful of the source material. It's just that fine line that only Lego can do. It's amazing.
I was gonna say, that's Lego.
And they have some of the original actors voicing the characters too, which is great.
Oh yeah, it's such a great. Everyone on the voice acting team is so.
I'm gonna guess Anthony Daniels is C-3PO because that guy does not let anyone else be C-3PO.
Yes, he is.
And good for him.
If you want, by all means, go for it. I don't care. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I just watched my son play it for the first time yesterday, and Tim, you're like, you got to play it, and now I'm like watching him. I'm like,
Kevin, I was on stream just screaming, Kevin, are you here? Are you seeing this? Multiple times, and other Kevins are like, I'm here, yes. And I'm like, not you, Kevin.
Not that Kevin.
Not Kevin. So that was great.
All right, I'm gonna. It's multiplayer, isn't it?
It's couch co-op.
Yeah.
So I could jump in with him.
You can, most definitely.
That's how I would recommend. I mean, that's how I was, I was born and raised playing it with my little sister, and we would just play it like for hours and hours. So yeah, I think it's best to play with two people. I mean, I play it alone now and I love it just as much, but playing with two people, especially like your kid, I feel like would just be such an awesome experience.
Yeah, he was. I was making dinner last night, and he was like, "Will you play with me?" And I'm like, "If you want to eat, I can't play with you." So
yeah.
I'm gonna try and sit down with him tonight and see if we can get a few reps in on Lego Star Wars. No, that's awesome. That's exciting. What other games have you played in the Star Wars universe that you've been enjoying?
Well, I haven't started it, but Knights of the Old Republic I just downloaded for Switch. I mean, I know it's not like PC, but like I downloaded for Switch just because I was like, oh, I should just play through the story and like know what's up because I don't know.
As long as you're using a controller, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Oh
good.
man, that
That's
is
good
gonna
to know.
be.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be painful. I'm
It's
warning
gonna be
you now.
clunky.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be so clunky.
But do not try and use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, no, and also like I don't even really have like I'd have to like borrow my friends like it's just a whole thing. So I did
Do it on
that.
Switch.
So I got that, and then but I played through all of Jedi Fallen Order. Incredible game.
Yep.
Like I think it's just one of like inarguably one of the best. So
Agreed.
that's another favorite.
Yeah, if you play Coder 2, make sure you download the version that has that one you might have to play on PC because there's a hacked version that has missing content that all of a sudden there's a whole chunk of the game that you're like, oh, that's why this happened. I see.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's annoying.
That is very annoying.
And the problem is that they got the budget. No, it wasn't budget. It was dev time. They had spent too much. They're like, well, we'll just cut this chunk from the game. And then when you're playing the game, I forget what it is exactly, but there's this point where you're like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
20 fucking years later, I'm like, oh, that's why. Coder for me is the greatest video game story of all time. By far.
I've heard
nothing's
that.
come close. It's the greatest story you can experience. So if you can get through the clunky controls, you're fine.
Hell yeah. Good to know. Yeah. I think that's gonna be like my new like way. If I want to break from the Lego thing, I'll jump into Coder.
Yeah.
It's a
and
good
Coder's
time sink.
long.
Yeah.
Coder's
Good.
long.
Good.
Even for an
Bring it
old
on.
game, it's a very, very long game. So good luck on your Coder journey. It's a wonderful experience.
I'm honestly glad that there's parts that I don't remember because I'm really excited for the remake. So I'm excited to be surprised again.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's man, I can't tell you how excited I am for that. On that note, too, while we're sitting here, so
Sure.
we have a friend on the inside in the game development world. Well, I should say friends because it's not the only one that we know between Tim and I. But
Stop giving away my secrets.
this friend, who shall remain anonymous, said something interesting to me today, and I'd love to get both of your takes on it.
Okay.
They said, fan theory, you won't see as many games as you might have hoped this year after Eclipse's release date went to the next century right after they put that trailer out.
Oh, no.
He said, I wouldn't show off a game until I was sure if and when it would launch.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to hype something when there's so many unknowns.
Oof.
How do you feel about that, Tim? Since we've been like going hard on, we're going to see this game and this game and this game at Celebration.
I still hold true that we'll see Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Yeah, 100%.
And I still feel like we'll at least get, I don't know, man, because EA did the same damn thing a couple years ago with the one game that not Respawn was working on, Visceral. Visceral was working on a game before they canned the entire studio and they still shut it off and stuff. So I mean, like, do you think that's a new Lucas Games policy? Is like we don't show or talk about anything until we know it's actually going to ship?
I think that the fear now, granted, let's call a spade here. Eclipse was not delayed necessarily because of, it's going to take dev time. Eclipse was delayed because the studio is run by shitty people and people got wind of it.
Yeah.
So that was the problem there. Do I think that's going to happen with everything? But because of the fallout from that, and now it got pushed to, like we said, I will be closer to 50 than I am now when that game releases.
Right?
Yeah, if it releases on time and if it comes out at all at this point.
Almost 40.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Chase, what do you think?
I highly doubt Eclipse will happen. I will say I don't care in the sense of like I don't like that game studio, but I loved the footage that we got. I was so hyped when I got that trailer before I saw who was developing it. So I love the idea of them like playing in that era of Star Wars with a different developer or somehow like developing a story sort of like along the same lines or at least like just same like graphics and epicness and score and everything. I mean, it really was a great trailer. But I definitely think we're gonna get some some Fallen Order 2 hype at Star Wars Celebration. And I'm also kind of like a big believer, like, listen, Fallen Order, it's like it's starting to get like a lot of hype that it's well deserved, but it's like interesting the timing of the hype because like, that we finally got Cal Kestis' saber at Galaxy's Edge, and like we got a BD droid. We don't know if it's BD1, but we got a BD droid in Book of Boba Fett. So I'm kind of like, I think they're really riding this out. We're going to get this sequel game. And I think that we might even see Cal pop up in Kenobi because those Inquisitors are hunting Jedi, and one Jedi is infamously hunted by Inquisitors.
That was my next question for you.
Yes. Oh, well, there you go. That's definitely, I think we're going that territory, and
I know.
Yeah.
It's the only show it makes sense for him to show up in.
I just feel like the video I feel like the video game stuff is just really fun when it's just in the video game stuff. So
yeah,
here's why
I understand why the crossover works because he is the character, so it works.
I'll give you the reason why we think he won't show up. We're still 50-50 to be honest, but I'll give you the reason we think he won't show up. If the game is not out and the only thing we know is what we know from the first game, do you really think that Respawn would want to see him again before we get to meet him and see where he's at in the next game? Like, it was when people were like, "Oh, why didn't Cal show up at the end of Rise of Skywalker?" Or not Rise of Skywalker, the last movie. No, Rise of Skywalker. I was right. Yeah. Why didn't he show up at the end? Well, because we don't know what happened to him.
Exactly.
Right.
He could still be alive. We don't know. So
yeah, they're like, "Where's his voice? Where's his voice?" I was like, "Well, you're gonna spoil it. We don't know if he's alive or dead."
Yes, because all those Jedi were dead.
Exactly. So yeah, you don't, and that's the other thing too. Is like I feel like where we leave off with them is they're on their own adventure, and so it feels like it's just a forced marketing beat, and like that's the thing that I don't like is that some of these episodes and some of these shows have felt like just forced marketing beats.
Yes,
it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like, hey, we need to remind you that these shows are coming out. And like the one episode of Book of Boba Fett was literally a fan service of, hey, we're working on Ahsoka still. Mando's out there. And that was it. You know,
Yeah.
and don't forget about Baby
Cad
Grogu.
Bane.
Yeah, and Cad. Well, I don't know. I think Cad Bane is a bigger.
That was go
part.
watch Clone Wars.
Yeah, sure.
No, I agree. I do think that if like it would be a very delicate situation to introduce Cal into Kenobi. I think it like yes, does it make sense? Like in theory, yes, but
Yeah,
like you
timeline-wise,
said,
for sure.
yeah, timeline wise makes total sense. But like you said, I think it's we probably want to pick up with him at the start of another game that's a much more like exciting place as a consumer and like as a gamer. I just hope that Respawn would have like the power over his character like that. Do you know what I mean? I hope that he wouldn't like be forced by like let's say Disney. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's like other people higher up that like or in different arenas of all this storytelling that push for that kind of thing. But again, I think it can be done well, but I'm also skeptical, like you said, like it does sometimes kind of start to feel like a commercial, and that's never a good thing. So
Lucas has the final say on not George.
Oh,
Lucas,
good.
Lucasfilm.
yeah,
Lucasfilm has the final say on who shows up, where, when, and why. So
Then I
Disney
trust.
actually can't tell them like, "Hey, we want to do this." Lucas has to. It's the same with Marvel. Like Disney can't say to Marvel,
Right.
"You have to do this in a movie." It was part of their agreements. So with that, Lucas is the one that has the say, which means it ultimately comes down to Filoni.
yeah.
Like
yeah,
he's the one that
it
makes the
does.
call of whether Cal is going to show up in live action. Now, on the playing devil's advocate, on the other side, like you said, the lightsaber coming out, that's
Yeah.
a big deal. Him
Mhm.
being at Galaxy's Edge in full
Promoting
costume
it?
to promote
Yes.
the lightsaber was
I
like
know.
red alert, red alert, red alert.
Mhm.
Which means that he's been doing stuff as Cal Kestis, which means one of two scenarios. One, they're filming live action trailers with him for Jedi Fallen Order 2 that could be revealed. If you're going to film a live action trailer, why not have him make a cameo to promote it in Obi-Wan, which comes out the same weekend as Celebration when they announce the second. Yeah, from the marketing perspective and as as a businessman, 100% makes sense.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like catch me crying at Celebration if that happens. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
You got to
you know?
vlog it. You have
It's
to
a
vlog
catch-
it. So Tim
Absolutely.
and I can watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and live
totally a
vicariously through you
catch-22.
since we won't be there. I'll be with my wife. I'm doing a little getaway for the anniversary, so I'll be
Amazing.
happy. But
Yep.
just gonna be like, get off your phone and stop looking at
Stop checking Twitter.
Get off your phone. Yeah. So it could happen either way, and
Yeah.
neither way's wrong in my opinion.
Agreed.
I would just say it could happen either way, and
And I just want it to be done well. That's all.
Sure.
that's the thing.
Yep.
As long as it's authentic and it's not a forced
Exactly.
marketing, like pushing it at us, I'm all for it. I think it's great. Cool. I do want to ask because I didn't ask at the top of the show. What are you both drinking? So everyone knows what I'm drinking. So what are
Oh.
you both drinking?
Go ahead.
I'm literally just drinking dark rum because I don't have any scotch.
Okay.
Nothing
So
wrong with that.
just some
It
dark
works.
rum. That's all.
It's brown.
Yeah. I was like, it looks the part. It's doing what it needs to do.
Yeah. No.
I'm sipping on Angel's Envy tonight.
Ooh.
I love a good Angel's Envy, man. It's always going down smooth.
You should have seen me
Yeah.
when we went out to dinner in Boston. I was like,
Okay.
"Can I get a whistle pig? We don't have it. Can I get a bullet?
You're
We
a
don't have
sucker
it.
for that. I love
Can I
it.
get an Angel's Envy? We don't have it. Fuck, just give me Jack Daniels.
Oh
no.
Man, you're making me hate Boston even more now.
In Boston, down by the port.
Down
go to the harbor.
Park your car.
Going back to my
Sorry,
notes here
guys.
to make sure we didn't skip anything so the producer doesn't kill me. So we did get a lot more information on Celebration. I will
Yes.
say this. It was I didn't feel bad about not going when I saw this information.
Fair. Yep.
It's cool the folks that are going in the panels and whatnot, and I probably honestly, and I'm not even saying this because you're here, Chase, but I would probably go over to the podcast stage and see these new up and coming content creators for Star Wars over some of the stuff that they announced so far. That's just me, fresh voices, and whatnot. So again, like Tim said, when you go through that door, it's a whole experience, and you're around your people. So I'm not discouraging people to go whatsoever, but I do think Celebration might be suffering from the same thing that we've seen with GCX, where because of COVID and whatnot, people don't want to travel, they don't want to do that, and that's okay. I mean, I'm totally understand, and that's fine with it. But it might be more, Tim, and correct me if I'm wrong, of a community celebration, just like GCX, than an industry event.
Yeah, I think it really is. I mean, like I looked at some of the panels. The one like the Lucas showcase the first day sounds pretty cool. I think that's where we'll see a lot of like them showing off all the official stuff. But yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be big on the floor experience. It's really cool when you go in and you just see all the vendors because it's all different types of people. The people who are selling like 501st, official armor, and they have like different types of helmets you can buy right there.
So cool.
Kit models. I mean, people who have, you can go and buy collectibles from the 70s, like stuff that like came out when the movie was like, you can like people have it and you can buy posters that are signed, and it's a really, really cool experience. And I think that's what it's going to feel like. I think you're right, Kevin. It's going to be very much so on the community aspect of it.
What are your expectations, Chase?
I love that. Honestly, very much that. Usually when I go to cons, I'm less of a panel person to begin with. That said, like the panels that were announced, I agree. Like I think the day one panel, like the Lucasfilm General one, seems really, really cool and really interesting. Like probably a lot of exciting things will happen. But for the most part, like there's like a Bad Batch panel, I think, which is like, Bad Batch is fine. Like, but I'm not like necessarily like I don't get super excited over it.
Sure.
And then like, Filoni verse is like exciting, but I'm also like, I'm kind of just like hungry for like the new stuff and like what's going to be new and different. So if they announce like some like sort of like, listen, I want to learn about the Acolyte. I want to learn about like all these other really cool things down the line that aren't necessarily tied to like Mando. But anyways, my expectations in general are really just like meet friends, meet so many friends that I've known online for so long that I've never been able to meet. That's a huge part of it. I'm such a shopper at cons. It's so bad, y'all. I will walk the same aisles again and again and again. And
I get FOMO, man. I think that they'll think you're stalking them at some point because you're just like, should I buy it? I don't know. Should I get it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Walk past that Funko 18 times and they're looking at the Coffee Expo. The Samazon booth had acai bowls and there was like no food on the floor, and I kept going by and grabbing a little more, and then eventually by like the fourth trip, the guy was like, gave me these eyes, and I was like, thank you, and I just kept walking, and I was like, God damn, I can't get the acai anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm just excited to like walk around and vibe. I'm excited also for like people like throwing like little like after parties and get-togethers. Like that's so cool. Like Star Wars sort of themed and centered parties sound like a good time. So that's kind of it. I'm going out there by myself too, which is super fun. My partner's staying home watching my dog Ahsoka, and I'm
hold up.
Yeah.
Wait. Pump the brakes. Roll this back. You have a dog named Ahsoka. What kind of dog is it?
She's a border collie poodle. And so she's wicked
awesome.
Smart. She's high energy. She's like the sweetest. Yeah. So
my dog's name is Finn.
Oh, I love that. Such a good name.
Yeah, so
Tim
I only
house.
call him FN2187. I don't call him Finn. I'm just like, hello, FN2187.
Every time without fail, Tim comes in my house.
Well, at least he's not calling him like traitor. Just
Traitor!
That's my wife when she's pissed at him for peeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No,
Get her a baton so she can whip it out. Traitor!
The community style event, and this is why I have FOMO that I'm not going, is because I want to go and I want to meet other creators and whatnot and folks that are just generally interested in this thing that I am interested in.
Yeah.
And converse and party and hang out with them, because that's how you make relationships. Like what we're doing right now. This is what I love to do. This is what I live for. This is I work my job. I love what I get to do, and I love running this company. But this is the fun part.
Yeah.
And experiencing those people and that thing. So I do have FOMO that I can't go, especially in a year where it's like it's going to be centered around the people that are there, not necessarily what's happening on the stage. So yeah, enjoy is the only thing I can say. Embrace it and have fun, meet new people, do the whole thing. You said you're gonna try and go to Disney while you're there too, right?
Yeah, I definitely am. The Pink Milk crew, like we're all kind of like talking about like, hey, should we go build lightsabers together? Like that'd be a cute thing to do. Like let's go do that. So I checked reservations and it looks like they got some things open. So we'll probably make that happen. I'm also like excited random, but I'm excited to see like all the cosplay too, because like I see like, cosplay is always amazing and impressive, but something about seeing it at Star Wars Celebration, people pull out all the stops and you get like the nichest of characters done like perfectly. So I'm so excited to see that too. And there's like, isn't there like a cosplay competition they usually do at Star Wars Celebration?
I believe they do, yeah. And then they always have like lightsaber meetups. There's Slave Leia. There's a Slave Leia community meetup that they do. So everyone dressed up as Leia. They meet
Does anyone
around
dress up as Jabba and go to that?
No, but what's really cool is like when like all like there's dudes that dress up, and then we've got the ladies that dress up, and they're all shapes and sizes, and they're all out there, and they meet up around Jabba. It's a full replica of Jabba on his throne, and they take a picture, and it's the coolest thing, man.
It.
It's just like that's a part of the Star Wars community that is just I absolutely love. We had one where a bunch of ladies dressed up as Playboy stormtroopers, and then they did like a big meetup like on the steps, and we saw that. And then like at night they do the lightsaber meetups, and so it's just like those are those moments where you're just like, man, Star Wars is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy that you get to go for your first time, because this will probably be like one of the better years to go from a community aspect. I think you'll definitely get those vibes.
Cool.
Yeah, get that selfie stick so we can see when you walk through the door.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget the first. I went to Batu at night for the first time.
Beautiful.
And it was just me and my wife, because my in-laws were watching our kids. So, and I came around the corner to where the Millennium Falcon is, not the one by Doc Ondar's, the other way by like those shops where Kylo's
Is it the same layout in
it's the same
LA?
exact layout in LA.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Sorry, so
Anaheim.
Came down there and I saw it, and she looked at me and like, she knew she was gonna get her moment, and like my jaw dropped, and I was like, oh my God. I wish I had my camera for that moment. She's like, I couldn't get my phone out fast enough before you were like darting towards it, because she wanted to capture the picture of like my face, because she's like, your jaw just dropped, like you were 8 years old again, like, oh, it's right there. So yeah, it's capture the moment if you can, because I have a feeling it's gonna be life changing for you to experience that.
Yeah.
One bit of news that came out this week too. Actually, let's do this since we were just talking about your dog. The director of Into the Spider-Verse, Peter Ramsay, co-director, is working on the Ahsoka series.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so good.
Amazing.
Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best animated movies ever, period, end of sentence.
It's just one of the better Marvel movies in general, Kevin.
Yeah,
Like,
animated or not, it's just like one of the best Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's really well done.
When I was watching it, because my son went through a phase where he had to watch it every day. So you pick things out every time. And one thing when we were watching, my wife was saying like the animation style, especially in the beginning, because you know the thing with how the frame rate changes as he gains his powers and everything.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when it's supposed to be really comic booky, she's like, they even have the emboss on all of the characters in the background that you would see on old school comic book prints, like those dots and the way it's raised.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying like, you can see it. And I'm like pausing. I'm like, holy shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, those little attention to details, that's some smart people that you're dealing with.
Really is. And I just love that all like the people, let's say, I guess like in charge of like the purse strings of the production, let everyone do that. Like, hopefully, pay them however much time they had to work on it, like give them as much time as they needed to, like, and just like let the funding happen so that creativity could just like flow. You know what I mean? It's really
that
powerful.
seems to be a good crew at Sony, because they delayed the second one to next year, right? It comes out.
Yeah.
Not this year.
I
next
think so.
year.
Yeah, it's next year.
So I am the type of person, if you're going to create a better quality product and make me wait another year, I will wait.
That was like me with the Lego Skywalker Saga. That was infamously delayed again and again. And like playing it, I'm like, oh, I 100% understand why this was delayed, and thank God.
Yeah. Because they polished it. Yeah. They just made it as good as it could be. And Ahsoka, to your point, is one of those characters that if done incorrectly, if her story is not right, people are going to be pissed.
Yep.
So mad. Like she is she probably is the favorite Star Wars character.
She is my son. My son is 7. He'll be 8 in July. He has openly said that she is his favorite character.
She's so badass.
I love that. She really is.
It's cool too, because when he was watching Into the Spider-Verse, I was saying to people, I was like, this is his Spider-Man. Mine was Peter Parker. His is Miles Morales. Yeah. So for this next generation of Star Wars fans, like, Ahsoka's cool. They're going to pick folks from the Bad Batch. The clones are going to be front and center more so than they were for us growing up. So like these, and this is where I get a little confrontational, Chase. So these old school people that fucking gatekeep everything, like let the new generation come in and enjoy what they're going to enjoy. As a father too, I'm saying that to all of you. I get really mad when people are like, Rey sucks. I'm like, Rey is the reason my daughter kept watching Star Wars.
I love
because she
that.
could finally identify with the person on the screen holding the lightsaber.
Yeah.
So don't tell me Rey sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if someone loved Spider-Man that much is going to work on Ahsoka,
Yeah.
I have a feeling like we are in for a real
Yeah.
treat with that show. That's just my 2 cents.
Is he
Agreed.
directing? Do we know if he's just on one episode or multiple episodes or?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
It just
Okay.
says he joined the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, it just says that he was tapped to direct upcoming Star Wars series.
Hell yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you know
Yeah,
he's
so-
gonna serve, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, no, I love the revolving directors too. We've talked about it on the show.
So
You know,
smart.
they're all fans.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have fans directing, you get a quality
But
product.
and what's so cool is they're fans in different lenses. Like the way that they look at Star Wars is a little bit different how the other director looks at Star Wars. And so like it's kind of like almost like Harry Potter, Kevin, where it's like every movie kind of has a little bit of a different twist on it.
Yep.
Whether it's, the type of film they use or the angles they do or the type of shots they like to make. Everyone has their own little bit of flavor. They put their own little taste of Star Wars in there, which I think is really cool.
I agree. And after the first season of Mando, when they had the gallery series with all the directors talking,
One of my
like
favorite
more
things.
of that. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching that, and I was just like constantly my jaws on the floor, and it was just like such a gift to be able to hear each of those directors talk about their relationship to Star Wars, also like their relationships to their episodes that they directed.
Yes.
And it makes like rewatching The Mandalorian like even like more and more like fruitful every time you watch
Yeah.
it, especially like knowing who like the directors are and kind of like what they directed in season 2 too. Like it's really awesome, like the family they've built for themselves in the Mandoverse.
When we first covered the last episode of season 2, Tim and I had differing opinions on Luke showing up. Tim at first was like very,
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
It
this.
felt
And I was like,
forced.
I can't help myself but be 10 again and be like,
Yeah.
"That's fucking Skywalker."
Yeah.
But I think, Tim, after you saw the gallery show, you were like, I kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. It was weird, but I get it.
Yep.
It's still weird.
I think
I'm
you like it
still
more than
no,
you
I
like
like it. I like it, but okay. There's a few shots that I've seen recently that someone had brought to my attention. Luke's presence is the inverse of Vader's presence in Rogue One.
Yep.
Which I thought was, I didn't catch. There's no way to catch it unless you literally you put them on top of each other and watch it at the same time. But the things that they have Luke do is the inverse to what Anakin does, which I thought was really, really neat. I thought that was really fun. So yeah, like little things like that, I love. It was just an awkward piece. Just weird.
Is that scene in the game, by the way, the Vader scene,
What scene?
the hallway scene?
No,
from
there
Rogue
is
One?
no. So Rogue One isn't in it.
I wish.
So right now it's episodes 1 through 9, and when it ends at episode 3, it ends exactly how it does in the movie, and episode 4 picks up exactly how all of the beginning and ends are exactly how it happens
Just
in the
for
movie.
the 9 movies. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so
'Cause he was
what they are
playing-
gonna add, they're gonna add Mando, they're adding Obi-Wan,
And
they-
Solo.
and Solo. Yeah, so
Okay.
there is no word on like an Ahsoka being in the game. There is no word on like a Rogue One or Cassian or anything like that.
I
gotta
hope
save
they go
some
Rogue
stuff.
One. I love Rogue One.
Rogue One is
so
so
Rogue
like
One.
it for me. It's Return of the Jedi and then Rogue One. Like I
Yes.
those are like my 2 favorite Star Wars movies because Rogue One is the dark gritty Star Wars that we
Thought I
never
ruined
got.
Return of the Jedi.
You did, and I actually talked about that constantly today. Like especially when we got to the part where R2D2 and C3PO get up to the gates and it's like, and Luke Skywalker's fucking over there
He
in a
didn't,
cave building his lightsaber.
he didn't know about the deleted
I didn't
scenes
know about the
until
deleted
last
scene.
week.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
And
really
he went-
upset about it.
He watched it while we were recording, and he went, it was not good.
It's good content though.
It's a good piece. So what happened was,
Great for the
for those that didn't know, and to bring Chase up to speed, I was watching TikTok one night, and they showed the deleted scene of essentially the beginning of the rebellion. It was Bail Organa meeting with Mon Mothma and Princess Padme, and a couple other people were there. And it's essentially him, bringing up the attention of what the Emperor's doing, and it's like, hey, by the way, this guy's bad, and we should get rid of him. And I thought that was great, and I was like, that's a beautiful piece. It really shows that like these people really believe in the Republic. And it was a shame that they pulled that out. And Kevin's like, well, by the way, if you like deleted scenes, have you seen Return of the Jedi? It's like, what do you mean Return of the Jedi has deleted scenes? And it's just like this one little piece of Luke and Vader talking to each other is so important.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
It's so important. And I just can't. And so now I'm just really curious of what else is out there, because like the books, I love reading the books of the last 3 movies that came out, because it explains so much more. There's so much more character development. Like Rey's character development in the first book is awesome. And it's a real shame they didn't give it to her in the first movie for her in episode 7.
Are you a fan of the High Republic, Chase?
I'm a fan of it. Like, I love everything they've done, but I haven't been reading all the books. But that's not because of the books. It's because I am not a great reader. I
Have
read
you
my
tried
my
Audible?
graphic
That's-
novels.
That's what Tim and I do.
No, yes, I have, and it's great. I
Too
don't know
long.
why. I don't know why,
It's
you
too
all.
long.
I don't know. I think it's too long, and like
That's fair.
specifically, like it was the into the what's the first one
Into
that
the
launched?
Dark?
In,
Oh, no.
the Light of the
First
Jedi.
one?
Light of the Jedi.
Light of the Jedi. That one was really hard for me just because there were so many characters and like
so many
I'm just-
names, dude. I
like,
couldn't keep track of them.
Literally, and like I'm just very like I'm more like this. So like
Yeah.
if I have like 1 or 2 people we're focusing on, I'm living. And yeah, so I found like I've experimented with Audible. It works really well for like, books that have like a few central characters, but when it's like I'm learning everyone ever involved in the High Republic saga in one book, I'm like,
That was a big
whoa.
problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the books after that do a really good job because they segment the characters into
Good.
groups.
Good.
And so like one book will cover like 3 Jedi, and then the next book will cover another group, and then they'll have their
Some
own
of the
adventures.
comics, too.
The
so you know-
comics
Yeah.
have their own characters, so they do segment them up. So to your point in the first one, yeah, I don't remember most of the beginning of the first book because it was just noise. You
Yeah.
are 100% correct.
And
Okay.
there's no good way to introduce an entire new part
Era.
of the timeline.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
a book.
No, for sure. And I've heard, I mean, like I've also like I've been keeping up with like kind of like what's happening. I know who's died. Not in like a spoiler way, but I like to know what's going on.
Sure.
But I've heard one thing I'm really fascinated about from the High Republic era is like I forget what they're called, but they're like they're those Jedi that don't like follow the Jedi path, but they like do
Wayfinders.
a
Wayfinders.
wayfinder. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's the new Gray Jedi.
It really is though.
Yeah,
Yes. And I'm
uh-huh.
so excited about it. And I hear like I'm gonna read Into the Dark is the next like THR book I'm gonna try to read.
That was
because-
my favorite one.
It's
Okay,
so
good. Yes, I've heard
good.
amazing things,
It's
so I'm gonna read that
good.
next.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was my favorite one.
Good.
When I saw the Nihil and the Drengir,
Mm.
I was like, oh, plant people
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
feel like we've made a grave mistake. Then I read Into the Dark, and I was, are you a fan of Halo, the Halo series at all?
Yeah, yeah.
So I read Into the Dark, and I was like, oh, they're like the Flood. That makes them fucking terrifying. Okay, that was a good choice. I like it.
Good.
Yeah, the Drengir after you read Into the Dark is like a complete 180 from what you thought they were going to be. They're way more terrifying.
Yeah, it's more Halo and less like Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, the only one thing, and this
Yes.
isn't really a spoiler, and you'll learn why and how, but
Yeah.
at one point the Sith were scared of them. So
Ooh.
Yeah, they're really
that's
scary.
a good little like
just to give you enough to be like,
Mhm.
okay. all right.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I highly recommend Into the Dark, and keep up with it after that, because Markion,
Yeah.
the way they flesh Markion out, and I'm just getting into I want to buy the comics. Tim and I have been trying to do cover more of the comics.
Oh yeah.
But I've heard nothing but good things about the Markion comics that have come
Same.
out. So.
Gotta
Same.
So I recently got an iPad, and I have fallen in love with reading comics on this
Oh my
thing
God,
because
so
it's just
wonderful.
Yeah.
it's so great. And I was showing Amy, and I'm just like, look, these things are in high res. It's just like beautiful pictures. I just love
Just
looking at the
zooming in.
art. Yeah, I love looking at
Yeah.
the artwork because it's just so
Totally.
highly
Yep.
detailed, and so it's just fantastic.
I started
Huh.
buying Marvel comics for my son too, so he can like read the younger ones, and he's like zooming in, like
Oh, that's awesome.
he's like,
And
Dad, look behind Iron Man's ear. There's a thing on there, because he like turns with aim and whatever the comic was that we bought. He's like, look, it's right there. I was like, astute observation, little man. Good job.
I love that. Yeah,
The
I just
power
put
of
my
high res.
I just put my pre-order in because sometimes I do like physical comics, and I just put my pre-order in for the Obi-Wan series coming out.
Oh, cool.
Which is going to be so great and just like so fun to kind of like read alongside both the Kenobi show, but also the Brotherhood book That's
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
out. Oh my god, I
I've
am
already
reading that
pre-ordered
one.
that
I'm
one.
excited about that one.
Yeah, I got that one on Audible. That looks
Brotherhood,
really
and
good.
then the third Queen Amidala book came out.
Oh
last
my
week,
god,
too.
yes!
Oh,
I need to read
no.
that trilogy.
We're gonna
I'm
we
very
have to
behind on
read this,
books.
Kevin.
We're gonna have to read them all at some
We're
point.
gonna have to
Tim.
read them. Oh man, there's so much to cover.
Tim,
I just
Tim's on
I
the-
did the Vader novel, the first one.
Oh hell yeah!
That was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I was
Vader-
really impressed. I've only seen parts of it. I've only seen little bits, and I was like, you know what? I need to sit down and read the entire thing. So
Yeah.
first
Comic
volume
Vader?
is done. Dude, Vader
so
is
amazing.
just so good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
So
like
amazing.
that entire time of him dealing with the turmoil of losing Luke and Padme and himself through all of that I was like, dude, I get it. I understand. I was like, oh, it really humanizes him more. It brings more of that Anakin Skywalker out of Vader and really just shows it's just like, oh, this is just a guy who's in a lot of pain, which is cool. Like, it's really neat that they really, again, humanize him.
I agree, and it's so funny because I think that I know like certain people in like Star Wars might think that like makes him weaker, but if anything, it makes him so much scarier because you like know he has nothing to lose.
Yes.
He's just pissed. And so
Yeah.
it's like this really cool phenomenon where like it's like humanizes him and like you feel for him and you see Anakin in that suit, but then you're also like, oh my god, he's horrifying because of all of it. Yeah.
Well, when he's like, well, he tells the robot, he's like, I'm gonna find everybody who had something to do with Padme's murder. I'm just like, holy shit, he's just gonna kill them all. Everyone's gonna die, and everyone dies.
If you take the journey of Vader and you look at it like the way, let's say my uncle who saw the original Star Wars in theater, he has the "May the Force be with you" button from the opening night.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you
So
look
cool.
at that Vader, and they talk about all these atrocities and terrible things he's done, and you're just like, oh, he's James Earl Jones in a suit. That's pretty cool, even though it wasn't James Earl Jones. But you're like, all right, cool. I think it took us until episode 3 when he kills the kids. We're like, okay, that's fucked up. And then we're like, all right, but it was one off. He's still Darth Vader. And then we go to Rogue One, and we're like, oh shit, like that is a very angry man. And then when you read the comics, you're like, oh my god, like in what Tim just said when he tells the droid, like, I'm gonna kill everyone that had to do with Padme's death. Did you see the fan film of where the Republic tries to assassinate him at Padme's tomb on Naboo?
No. But I know what
YouTube
I'm
it.
doing tonight.
Yep.
So that's taken from the comic.
Yep.
Oh, so they just made a fan film of it.
made it
Essentially, yeah, he took, so
Wow.
he built the guy who animated it built it out in the Battlefront game engine, and so it's like this
Oh.
fully animated thing. It's really well done.
Okay, what do I Google? What do I YouTube?
Vader, Padme tomb, Naboo, and it should pop right up.
Great. I'll find it. Thank you.
No,
It sounds
enjoy,
amazing.
and please let us know what you think afterwards. 'cause
I will. Yeah.
That was another one. Yep. Yeah, that's in the comics as well. There's a few. Sorry if you can't hear Paul because he's in the production booth. He's talking about how Vader slaughtered an entire planet himself as well. So yeah, you take the original Vader to where they've taken him now, and he's a tortured person who's done horrible things
Right.
for himself and for the Emperor. Tim and I were talking a few weeks ago about the fact that he has 3 Death Troopers loyal to him and only him. And do you know the backstory of the Death Troopers?
No.
They are
I mean,
essentially
no.
zombies under there. They're like
So
necrotic. Go
not
ahead,
like-
Tim.
They're not like, okay, so they're not like,
They can
they're,
think.
They're augmented. They are
Okay.
they are overly augmented people. They're not like zombies, but they are. Yeah, they're more Frankenstein than anything else. But
It's
like,
like
there's
necrotic science that keeps them alive.
yeah, and so like
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's scenes where like in the books where they'll take they can take their helmets off. And they're not like Vader where they need these apparatus to like stay alive. But the whole idea is like they have like only Vader can like talk to them. Like even in the comics, Kevin, like like in the font bubbles, it's like garbled, and he responds to whatever they're saying. So you have no idea what even Death Troopers are saying in there. But like the whole idea is that they are the elite. They are essentially SEAL Team 6 of the Empire.
Tim and I still think that what's his name, Crosshair,
Crosshair.
Bad Batch? Crosshair, and that whole group is the beginning of the first Death Troopers.
That's the beginning of the Death Trooper program.
Yep.
Yeah.
We think that they're the first ones.
I am completely obsessed with that theory, and now I will just like light a candle every night until that happens.
And
That's
the
amazing.
the planet at the end of Bad Batch, which name is escaping me right now, has
Right.
so much to do with cloning.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Because that was isn't it like a planet from Legends?
Yeah,
Or
it's
no.
from
Yeah.
EU.
Yeah.
I forget the name
Yes.
of the planet off the top of my
Yeah.
head, but yeah, it has so much to do with cloning technology. So
Yeah.
it plays into.
Is it Wayland?
Is that it? It sounds right. It could be wrong.
Wayland.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it
Wayland.
plays into the Death Trooper program. It plays into Palpatine and his story as he goes along and being alive, which Tim is going to fight me to the bitter end. But I swear to God, those are failed clones in Mandalorian in that research facility when they're
Oh,
running
yes.
through it in those tubes.
Oh,
Those are failed Palpatine clones.
We'll see.
I agree
Because it
completely.
plays into that too.
Well,
it all
But
leads
why
to the same place.
there? Like, why there?
Why anywhere?
I don't know.
Well,
Kevin.
because
It just
it's
seems
kind of
weird.
like on the outskirts and like no one really goes there, and it's
Navarro.
just like in this random Navarro, and like and like I don't know, I'm a big believer in that too. I mean, it's like I think I like to think that they're trying to create all these clones to, hold Palpatine's life, force and all that kind of stuff.
And
I
can't
want
handle
it.
it.
I
Yeah, they
want
can
it to be
handle it.
deeper than that. I don't want it to
Okay,
be
yeah,
another Palpatine
fair.
clone. I would like to see some I think the cloning thing is understandable. Like we've seen it in freaking Lego Star Wars. They talk about cloning and force sensitive clones, right?
Yeah.
We know that we've got Dr. Pershing who has the Kaminoan logo on his chest. We know that Grogu's important to that. So the idea of having the cloning on Navarro, like, okay, I would just like it to be more than just like we're making a bunch of Pappy clones. Like I would like it to be
right.
like, this is a part of some other top secret initiative that they were working on.
Yeah.
I think the cloning, Kevin, back to the Luke clone theory of cloning from his hand.
the hand.
That it could be
Yeah.
that, right? It could be so
Totally.
many other things. It could be them trying to bring back the cloning program. Those could be failed, Boba Fett clones for all we know. So like I would just like a cool twist like that instead of just like, oh, it's Palpatine.
Right. Right.
It just feels like we're pulling from the same. We're just pulling from the same hat again. Like twist it. Add something a little different. Like we might know we know it's a clone, but what kind of clone is it?
I think they're doing a phenomenal job of including EU and Legends elements
Very much so.
into Disney. Dark Troopers being the prime example. Like I lost my shit when I saw them. I was like, oh, there they are! Oh my god! And then when Din got to fight them, I was like, he's gonna get his ass kicked. But they do need to flesh things like that out. But again, with Star Wars, so they might have not fleshed that out for another 10 years.
Right.
Like they'll
Right.
still be filling in plot holes, and I'll be 6 feet underground, and whatever. So
Oh, that's a dark thought. Oh my God. What are we
you'll
going to die
live
not
forever,
knowing?
Kevin.
What are we going to die without having recontextualized it? With
on the lighter side of it, I did read an article that our generation might live to like 150 due to medical technology and stuff.
Hey, let's
As long as I can
Star Wars.
comprehend what's happening in Star Wars and any new Lord of the Rings material, I'm okay.
You
with
might
that.
have to
Agreed.
upload yourself to Disney Plus to get there. Upload your entire
I'm down,
identity
dude.
to-
That
like a
sounds-
Sam
that's just-
Junipero thing,
that
but
sounds
just for
awesome.
Star Wars.
Right.
And yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
No, and original Disney animated stuff. Like, come on, like we can go.
I
hang
mean,
out
that
with
could be the
Aladdin.
purpose of the metaverse.
Yeah.
It's just a giant necropolis for nerds.
There you
Yes, I love that.
go. Hey, invest in fandoms now.
I'm okay with that.
Yes, very that.
Works for me. I'll be very happy. Well, Chase, we appreciate you joining us today. What
Very
a great
much so.
conversation. We
You
will
were a blast.
100% have you back. You flow
Please,
very
please
well
come
with us.
back.
And we don't have to do the whole intro part because, like, you met Chase last time.
like,
Let's
we're
dive
this
into
guy.
the content.
I love that idea. Literally, it was so much fun just being able to hang out with you guys. Gave me an excuse to have a little drink before
Yes.
5 p.m. And you guys are great. I really, really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. We really enjoyed this. Please shout out everything you're working on, podcast, social media handles. Let everyone know where they can find you. And again, if you're at Celebration, go say hi.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be giving out some I'll be doing the sticker thing. So I'll
Perfect.
have stickers if you see me there. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. I'm ThatGayJedi on YouTube, Twitter at _ThatGayJedi. Also every Friday night live streaming with the Pink Milk crew at Pink Milk Podcast. And then also Fear Queers Podcast.
Awesome.
Awesome. And Pink Milk will be on the podcasting stage this year at Star Wars
Yes,
Celebration.
thank you.
What
Do you know
what
the day and
day?
the time yet?
No, they haven't assigned those times yet. Those
Okay.
days,
Well,
but
all you got to do is go to @ServingPinkMilk on Twitter and follow there, and then you can
Yes.
figure out when the day and time will be because that's the best way to do it.
There we go.
But
Oh, yeah.
Chase, thank you so much again. 100% going to have you back and chat with
Thank
you.
you.
you're
I would
welcome.
love that. Thank you guys so much.
And if you want to come to GCX, just let us know. We'd love to have you
Yeah,
out. And,
no,
even the crew,
absolutely.
if the Pink Milk crew wants to come, just let us know.
Thank
Passes
you.
are on us. We'd love to have you out.
But for all of you listening, you have to go head on over to
You
gcxevent.com. You have to go there and get your tickets today.
You do.
That's right.
GCXevent.com/tickets. You can find Tim Darkness for what you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to do the intro. I was going to do the outro.
Go
and I
ahead,
was
you do
I was
it.
waiting. Perfect.
You have a better voice.
He's
than I do.
Kevin X Vision on Twitter. You can find him over at raredrop.co doing all the other cool things. Don't forget to follow us over on Twitter. Star Wars Scotch. Star Wars Scotch. Star Wars and Scotch. Star Wars Scotch. You can also find us literally everywhere for all of your podcast needs. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Tell your friends. It doesn't matter. We're there. Tell them to check us out. And you can follow me over on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the places. Darkness429. And streaming live on Facebook Gaming Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to
Ish.
5-ish, 9 a.m.-ish to 5 p.m.-ish, depending on how the day is. Kevin,
Well,
take us out.
As usual, thank you again. This was episode 79, which means next week will be episode 80. And we'll be 1 week closer to Celebration and Obi-Wan. Ugh, thank God.
I'm so happy.
And we are almost there. But in the meantime, may the Force serve you. See, I did the Sith thing that time, too.
Oh, that was good, Kevin. I like that.
Have a good one.